In the previous lesson, we talked about credit card statements and managing credit cards, and I mentioned something called a minimum payment. Well, in this lesson, we're going to look at what happens if you only make the minimum payments. We're talking about delaying your credit card payments. So delaying, you're just putting it off. So we're going to work through this example. Bob made a purchase on his credit card. His new balance is $150. His minimum payment is $10. His interest rate is 20% compounded daily. So let's pretend Bob has this balance of $150 and he's only going to make the minimum payment of $10 every month. So we're going to figure out ultimately how long is it going to take him to pay this off and how much interest is he going to end up paying. So to solve this problem, I'm going to organize my thinking in a table. We're going to go each month to find the new balance. We're going to write down how much he pays and then figure out how much is remaining to be paid. So in the first month, what's his new balance? Well, it's right here. It's $150. What's the amount he pays? Well, he's only making the minimum payment, so he's paying $10. So if he owed $150 and he paid $10, how much is remaining? Well, it's $150 minus 10. So he has $140 remaining to be paid. Okay, now let's look at the second month. So at the end of the first month, he still had to pay $140. But that's not his new balance for the next month, because right here, his interest rate is 20% compounded daily. We have to take that into account. We'll just assume that every month has 30 days for this example. But we have to use our compound interest formula. So his new balance isn't just $140. It also has 20% interest compounded daily for 30 days. So when I do that calculation, in the second month, he actually owes $142.32. Okay, now again, he just pays the minimum $10. So if we take our new balance and subtract the payment, we end up with $132.32. Now we can do the same thing for the third month. His starting balance is $132.32, but we have to use our compound interest formula, 20% compounded daily for 30 days to find the actual new balance in the third month. Then we have to subtract the payment of $10 and we end up with our remaining balance. Now, we can just keep building up our table like this month by month, take the remaining balance, do the compound interest formula to get our new balance, subtract the $10 and get our remaining amount again. And we keep doing that over and over and over again until our remaining balance is zero. And that's when his credit card is finally paid off. Now, this is a very tedious job. We're doing the same calculation over and over and over again. We take this number, put it in the compound interest formula, and get our answer. We take this number, put it in the compound interest formula, get our answer. And we keep doing that over and over and over again. So we can actually simplify our job here a lot, and we don't have to do all the calculations by hand if we use a spreadsheet. So now I'm going to show you how I can set this whole thing up in a spreadsheet to make our job easier, and we can answer the question of how long is it going to take him to pay off his credit card bill and how much interest is he going to pay. So when you're in Google, make sure you're signed in with your school account, and you can go up here and click on Sheets. You'll open a blank sheet. And now we can start filling in our sheet and setting it up just like we were doing on paper. We can start by typing in the month, the new balance, the amount paid, and the amount remaining. I'm just going to make those bold so they stand out a little more. And you can double click here to make the columns the right size so that all the words fit. Now I'm just going to start filling in the month numbers. Start with 1, then 2, then 3, etc. And we don't really know how many months we need to go, so just put in a bunch and we'll see if it's enough. You can always keep going. So now we know in the first month, his new balance on his credit card was $150, and he paid $10. Now don't type in the amount remaining just yet. We're going to get the spreadsheet to do the work for us. So we're going to do something called a formula. So in order to do that, we type the equals sign. That tells the spreadsheet that we're about to do a formula to tell it what to do. And we want this number, so click on it, subtract, so the minus sign, this number. So that's the calculation you want to do. Hit enter and it does the calculation for you. Now that is something that we want to repeat in that entire column. So we want to do that same calculation over and over again. So click in that box in the corner, drag it down. Now you see a bunch of zeros. That's just because we don't have anything written in those boxes yet. But as soon as we get numbers in those boxes, our remaining amount will update and it will do the calculation for us. So let's look at the new balance. How did we calculate new balance? Well, we have to do this amount with the compounded interest. So we do a formula equals this number. Now we're multiplying, so use the asterisk or the star. And we're multiplying by the compound interest 1 plus 20%, so 0.20, and it's compounded daily, so divide by 365. So divide is the slash. Close the bracket. And we add that to the exponent. So the exponent looks like this symbol. And if you press Shift and the number 6 on your keyboard, that's the symbol right there. It looks like an upward pointing arrow. So that's an exponent, and we had it to the exponent of 30 for 30 days in a month. Hit enter, we get our value. Rounded, that would be $142.32. And how much did he pay? Well, you don't have to type in 10 every time. We can just repeat the same payment over and over again. Click in the bottom corner, drag it down, always making the same payment. And this calculation, we want that to repeat every single month. So we're going to click in the bottom corner, drag, and now we've done all the calculations in a matter of seconds instead of having to do it all by hand. Now I'm going to click each column and I'm going to change it to clean it up a little bit, change how many numbers appear after the decimal. So you can click up here or here to change how many numbers appear after the decimal. I'm leaving it at 2 because we're dealing with money. We always have the nearest cent is 2 digits after the decimal. Now you can see he's paying every month, and he ends up with at the 17th month he owes 60 cents, and it's 61 cents after the interest is calculated. So he's not going to pay $10 in that last month. He's only going to pay 61 cents. He's not going to pay more than what he owes. So if we change this, just type over it, the 61 cents, then hit enter. Now the remaining balance at the end of the 18th month is 0. So it takes him 18 months to pay off his credit card to get a balance of 0. 18 months is a long time to pay for $150. That's a year and a half. 18 months. So the original $150 goes down slowly if you're only ever making the minimum payments. So he's got 17 payments of $10 each, plus the last payment of 61 cents. So 17 payments of $10 each, that's 17 times 10, that's $170, plus the 61 cents. He's actually paying $170.61 for the original $150 balance. So yeah, he makes 17 payments of $10 each, plus his last payment was 61 cents. So that gives us $170.61. That's how much he paid. So the question now is, how much interest did he pay? Well, the interest is just the difference between what he actually paid and what he originally owed. So he originally owed $150. He paid $170.61. The difference is $20.61. So it took him a year and a half to pay this off, and he ended up paying $20.61 more than what he really needed to. So you can use a spreadsheet setup like this in order to answer similar problems, and the practice questions I have for you will require you to use a spreadsheet. So you'll have to make adjustments to the formulas. You'll have to change the interest rate and the amount of the balance, and you'll have to also change the minimum payments. But the basic setup of your spreadsheet will be the same. And if you have trouble with that, let me know and I can help.